Well, greetings again. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt with the American Orthodontic Society, and I want to talk this morning about some strange actions, the way the body repairs and helps you repair things that are wrong. I was amazed several years ago when I got this young man in with this terrible crossbite. One of his lateral teeth was completely in on the wrong side, and I had to open the guy's mouth about 1/4 of an inch to get this lateral jump back across here. And while I had the bite open that much, I had put a block on one side of the mouth to do this. And before I got the lateral back to the other side, all these teeth on the other side had gone together. In other words, they moved together. They didn't get bigger or anything. Just the whole bony structure moved together. And this was really something I had not really understood prior to this. And I've seen this happen now in many, many of these restorative cases. And this is something we should know happens in the body, how the body tries to recover from problems that it has. And it is amazing the complexity of the human body and how it reacts to these things. So just watch what happens right here, and you take that principle. It is the same today, it'll be the same 100 years from now. It is the same way back there when I just know about it. It would move that close together. So let's get started, and I'll try to cover this and show it to you. Now here is this young man, and you don't really see much difference in the facial structure. Maybe this side is a little longer than the one over on the right side. The left side is maybe slightly longer, but that's nothing at all to what we'll show you here in a few minutes. Now here, smile a good smile. Everything's working out good there. Now I could not trim the models. In other words, there's a tooth out here up where these came across, and we would break that off every time. I tried to glue it back on and couldn't get it. So one tooth on the bottom arch was sticking out above these teeth. Then the tooth inside there, the lateral for the lower arch, was sticking way up in here. And I had to open this bite to get this lateral back across and put it in place in this area over here. This is a central, this is central, and this tooth goes in this spot right there. Now, I had to bond a block over on this side of the mouth almost 1/4 inch high to open this big enough to get this tooth from the inside out and in this position here. Now, this young man had teeth out, lost some teeth earlier on in life, and this 6-year molar was gone, and so we took this one out to match it up with the other teeth. And we did the same thing on the other side of the mouth. This one was missing. He had lost it earlier, so we took that out. We were bringing these together and using the wisdom teeth back here to fill this gap. You can kind of see this other tooth was over here, but you can't tell. I couldn't get one to stay on there. I'll have to get a picture of it. Now let's look at this. You can see the one that was hanging way down here. And then I had to build this side up over here so I could get this tooth into this space right there. Now they took the molars out. We could have left those spaces open, and however we took them out and we put the bonded side over one of them. Okay, here here it is. You see, he had teeth here. We wanted to bring these teeth up. These teeth were decayed, they had a large cavity in it. So we've already had that happen up here. This one came out and drifted to this point right here. Now we're going to come in and get these, and we'll drift this together right here, close this up. And this is kind of called restoring dentistry using orthodontics to it. Now this comes up in all kinds of cases. This young man was 17 years old when we started, and this was 12 of 93. And this is the problem that he had right there. This crossbite is so configured here you can't even see it on this area. Now, there we go again. Now, I had to put a block over on this side, almost a 1/4 inch high. And that left a gap over on this side of a 1/4 of an inch. So we had that tooth out, and we opened that bite up enough to where we could get that lateral across there. Now we'll show this hump in there. Now this is 1184. After we got it, before I got that, these teeth had moved down together, and he was able to chew on that side of his mouth. Now here is the block that we put in there. We opened it that much. Now we pushed this out, and it took some time before we could get this tooth through this gap right here. And before we got that tooth the gap, these teeth had grown together. They had moved that far. When I don't have a picture of the gap before we started, but when I put that on one side, I thought, well, I'll leave that alone. I thought it'd stay there. But it moved together from the top to the bottom. The teeth didn't get any bigger. They just, the bone, teeth, and all moved. And that's a fact of the way the body brings its teeth together so it can chew, so it can eat. And this was left this gap. We finally pulled that tooth through that gap, and we opened the gap big enough, got the tooth in here, and this was open that much. And when we first did it, there was that much space over here on that side, and before I got the tooth through there, these teeth had moved together. Now this is a fact of how the body repairs different things that goes wrong with it. Then some people would just say, well, this is crazy. This is screwing up this young man's whole mouth, doing this. All right, we kept working until we got the tooth through the gap. And we had this block over on this side. There was no block. Now these teeth moved together. During that time I had, even though they moved together this way, and the back teeth moved to the front to fill up that gap. All right, here is the spring. We were pushing these teeth apart to bring this tooth into place right here. And finally we got the tooth in place. Now we've got it over here. Now we've got to torque it. The tooth line here, we got to bring this root out. So we put reverse torque in this right here, and it makes this root come out. We're still in a little rectangle, a little twisted wire. When we put a rectangular wire in here, we could put torque in it to bring that tooth root out like that. All right, we had this block, and these teeth had almost moved together. And it would have probably been better if I had just put the block on one tooth in here. Maybe this would have drifted, because we had to drift that together after we got the tooth in there. All right, these teeth were meeting. They had literally moved, and he could chew on this side of his mouth. And we're bringing that tooth up while this is happening on the left side of the mouth. A bad picture right here, but that just shows the upper deal. Now here, the lateral tooth, we are getting it into position right here. All right, here it is, but we're still in a flexible wire. So the root of it is going back this way. We're going to bring it out like that. But once we got it over the hump, we could get rid of the block right here. And people would say, oh God, you know, this is messed up. Don't worry about it at all. This comes together over here, and that one will open back. In other words, these teeth on the other side of the mouth will open back up again. All right, this is in almost complete closure over on the right side of the mouth, and the left side of the mouth have this block in it. Now we took the block out of this side over here, and your tongue was pushing into here. Now you would think this is a terrible situation, but just leave it alone, you know. And now this side will come together, and this side will move apart to some extent. This is determined by how the person bites and closes and breathes. In other words, if the person is breathing through their nose, they keep their mouth together. When they swallow, every time they press their teeth together, and these teeth won't touch. These teeth do touch, so the whole pressure's over here. That pushes these teeth back where they were, and these teeth come down to where they are. And then when we close this space up, there will be the even pressure on both sides of the mouth. And this is amazing to me, that the body can move itself around bone and all, and this will happen in anybody. I think this young man could have been 50 years old, and I've got a case that where we have done more than this on somebody that is 50 years old. So we're kind of restoring the mouth orthodontically. You don't have to go in and cut the bone and bring it together. Just let this move together. Now this guy, for some reason or another, we got pretty well through with the case, and he just disappeared. And we tried to find him. We wrote letters and everything, and we never got to finish this case out. But we go further than that. Now here, this side is closing up right here. Let's go back and look at that. Now watch it closes down and comes on. We got this tooth back in place now, and we're putting, this is a rectangular wire. We're going to be torquing that tooth into position. Now that's coming on down. He's biting over here. These teeth still don't touch, so they move together. The whole force of closing is over here. It moves these teeth up, back in the position they were in. These come down, and these go up, and it closes that up. Now here it is, 5 of 85. I can't tell that for sure. Now there is that tooth that was out here. It's over in position. We got it torqued, pretty good position. This space that he had, we've closed it completely up here on the top. That was that way when we started. The bottom now, this is almost caught up with the other side. This is coming together here. This is lined up. It's not quite as far as the other side. Now we'll get these all lined up. And the young man just disappeared. But we had done the work that we needed to, and some of this will correct itself, or he may go to somebody, tell it, I don't know where he went. But we never was able to find him. So somebody else may have finished the case up, but we had done the really hard part of the work. in restoring this area. So this is something I wanted to bring out to you. Now we can take people and put a bite plate in the front of the mouth, and that forces a lot of weight on the joint, but we can bring the back teeth together. In other words, you can increase the vertical height of the face in here, and it just does that automatically. Somebody asked a question about that. That can happen, but in most cases, you want to keeping it down. If you have an open bite case and you got a real deep bite like this, and you're going to open this up, the force to bring the upper teeth, push these teeth up. Back here, this is pushing them down. The molar goes down. There'd be an equal force in both places. And so these teeth, whatever they grow together back here, that much is going to be the increase in the vertical height of the face. Now there's somebody asked a question about that, and that is a fact too. That can go that way. So I'm going to close out here, and we'll had this guy almost on the way to finishing properly, and he just flat disappeared. And so I don't know, somebody out there may have seen him later. So thanks for watching. Let's go, and we'll say goodbye. I hope you will subscribe to our channel, and we're trying to do the best orthodontics that can be done on people. And I don't care what people say at the time. I go ahead and try to close and do the very best we can there. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to sign out and say goodbye for the time being.